Okay, so hello you guys. Welcome back to my channel. I know some of you guys have been curious about like how I'm working in South Korea, especially since I technically never did an interview. So I'm going to tell you guys how I got this job teaching English in Korea without a interview. Okay, so normally, when people do programs like Epic, or they apply through recruiters to work in Hagwons, normally you have to do your initial interview, then sometimes you will do a second interview, and then when you go to get your visa, you have to do a third interview with the consulate or whoever you're getting your visa from. So fortunately for me, I didn't have to do any of that. So many people do not know about this program called Fulbright. Fulbright is a U.S. State Department fellowship where you guys will have the opportunity to teach in any country, mostly, yeah, any country around the world where a Fulbright program is. Now, I chose South Korea as my fellowship location, and for the Fulbright Fellowship, the requirements are to submit 2 essays, a personal statement, and a statement of purpose. And then you fill out the rest of the application, which is just very basic stuff like what is your history, your education, and all of that good stuff. In order to be eligible for Fulbright, you have to have had your bachelor's degree finished by the time you are chosen to go on a Fulbright. So many people start to apply for Fulbright towards their last year of university. So that way, by the time they end university, they can go straight into Fulbright because the program starts in July. So with this program, you just write 2 essays, you submit them, and then it goes through 2 rounds. The initial round is where they choose all the applicants to go to the commission in Korea. The commission in Korea will choose which applicants they want to be English teaching assistants. So again, you guys write like 2 essays, you fill out the application, and then there's an initial, the first round, the initial round, where they choose all the applicants that should be recommended to the commission in Korea, so the Fulbright Commission in Korea, and then the commission chooses from those applicants who they want to come. Now, normally every year there's about 80 applicants, 80 to 82 applicants roughly. There are no interviews. So initially I thought there would be an interview because I'm like, yeah, you're choosing me to teach at the school. But there are no interviews. So the first round, they're just choosing you like to go on to the commission, to be recommended to the commission. And then the commission just chooses who they want based on your application. So I would highly recommend, if you are someone who is anxious, maybe you don't do well with interviews, but you still want to work in Korea, I would definitely recommend applying for the Fulbright program if you are interested, because they really just go by your application. And compared to a lot of different programs in South Korea for English teaching, although the pay is quite less compared to other programs, there is a lot of support for Fulbright. So, for example, normally I'm going to use Epic as an example. Epic only has 1 or 2 weeks of orientation, maybe 4. So, like, definitely less than a month of orientation. But with Fulbright, it's about 2 months of orientation. And in that 2 months, you get language training for free. You also get meals for free. And you get teacher training for free. All of this is paid for by the Fulbright Commission. Also, you get to network with many people in the government. Like, I got to meet a few officers, and I even went to the ambassador's house, which was pretty cool. But yeah, you get to network with different foreign service officers, which is pretty cool. And there's also free conferences throughout the year that you get to attend. And before, we used to have like 14 days of vacation days, but I hear that might be changing. But yeah, that's a lot compared to many other programs. And also, if you work for a Hagwon, like, that's a lot. 14 business days, so that's not counting the weekends. That's just counting like business days. So that's about like a month. But like, I was very fortunate. Like, I have a very good school. And I have like 2 months of vacation. Seriously. But yeah. All the schools are public schools. You won't be teaching in a Hagwon. So you would not get the Hagwon experiences. Times are very different. Also, you only teach 20-hour classes. Sorry, you only have 20 hours of teaching time. But you do work full time. But you only have 20 hours of teaching time, which is again less than some teachers. But that actually helps because you're getting adjusted, especially if this is like your first year teaching. I think it is a good trade-off. Normally I teach about like 4 classes a day. Yeah, I teach about like 4 classes a day on average. And then like the rest of the time, like I have free to like plan lessons or whatever. But yeah, that's like a different story, different video that I'll let you guys in on later. But yeah, I did not do an interview to get my current job. I didn't have to do an interview for my visa either because at that time I was not on a teaching visa. I was on a government visa. It's called an A3. So yeah, I was an English teaching assistant. I did not do an interview for neither getting the job position nor my visa. So if you again are someone who is anxious, I would definitely recommend like applying for Fulbright. If you want to teach in Korea but you're a little anxious about like the whole process of like interviewing and also interviewing for your visa, because those can be very stressing things. Also have to point out my visa was free, so I didn't have to pay for anything either. Like the type of visa I got, because it's like a government visa, it's covered by the consulate. So I didn't have to pay for my visa, which was great news. But for a lot of things with the Fullbright program, there is some support. There are some cons, which I will let you guys know in a different video. But all in all, if you're someone, again, you're anxious, you're not really good at interviewing, definitely recommend it. And also talk with your schools, your universities, to help you with the application process, because Fulbright is kind of competitive. But what isn't competitive? If you're applying for EPIC, you're fighting with hundreds of thousands of teachers. So definitely think about Fulbright. There are so many pros, like no interview, free language training and teacher training, all paid for at a really good university, Yonsei. You get free conferences. Oh, also one of the free conferences is in JEJU, so they pay for your trip to JEJU, your conference to JEJU. So yeah, there is just like a lot of different supports you wouldn't see with other programs. So thank you guys for listening to me. Have you guys ever thought about like EPIC? Let me know down in the comment box. I love to see what you guys are thinking about, like what routes you're looking into teaching English in Korea. So yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys later.